Hello, hello. All right, we are back here in Quest for Glory 2. Let's take a look at where we're at. Um, so, other than our magic, most of our stats are pretty well worked out. Strength and vitality need some more work still, but that's not bad. Looks like health is still a touch low. And we have a few days until our next elemental will appear. Um, and really, everything is taken care of that we need to do before then. So, 5 mana, 5 healing, no vigor. Okay. And nothing to sell. So, what we're going to spend a lot of our time doing. Gotta check my water skins. I think they're full. I think I actually just filled them, didn't I? Full water skins. Cool. We're going to burn through our mana pills. Dead Knight. And just work on our magic out here in the wild. And we'll just see how it goes. But that is the majority of what we're going to do for the next several days. And I think will probably be most of what we do throughout this whole video, frankly. I'm planning on stopping before the story progresses any further, before we deal with the next elemental. And I'm not planning on dealing with wit here. Just working on building up the skill for each spell. So it's pretty much just going to be working on magic. And training up that way. Take tail. And take... And let's find our source again. So if you're more interested in just getting the story and not as interested in seeing this kind of stuff, this would be a reasonable video to skip, I suppose. And I promise you will not be missing anything story-wise. But that'll be interesting to at least have one video where we sort of showed the full gamut of the training. Particularly since when it comes to training up your sort of fighting skills, it's pretty easy to do so. Sources like Reflection Pool. Yeah, I'll ask about that some other time. It's pretty easy to just go see Uhura at the Fighters Guild and train there. But there really isn't an easy way to train up your magical abilities in this game. Even in Quest for Glory 1, it's very, very easy to find the Goblin Training Ground. You can train there, which is less of an option here. I wonder if staying on one screen would increase the encounter rate. Maybe not the encounter rate, maybe it would just feel like it didn't take as long. At times with the other characters, when I'll train their throwing, as you're sitting there, you just constantly have people attacking you. Well, not necessarily people, but creatures. Hey, alright. Suppose I should probably save relatively frequently, just to make sure that I don't make any grave errors. It'd be rather annoying to spend 20-30 minutes wandering around in the desert and only to find myself suddenly being killed by a rogue scorpion. Oh. So clearly, Dazzle's skill is not very high. It's not exactly buying me a lot of time. Well, honestly, even when it's maxed out, I don't know how. There's Dazzle, 83. I don't know how effective it is, even when it's maxed out in this game. Frankly, usually, I just take the sort of lazy way out, train up my fighting, and then don't bother too much training up the magic. And if I do, it's generally just flame. Flame or force, as they're definitely the easiest to just straight up do damage with. But I've kind of been making it a point to max things out as much as possible for this run, so might as well keep it up. And if it does end up working, then it's an extra weapon in the arsenal, which is always good to have. I do not remember whether or not I have already gotten the Griffin Feather. I have not. Cool. I will not do it in this video because, as I said, I'm not going to do any kind of storyline or other activities, but it is good just to have that in mind. Sound of your footsteps. Oop. I felt like I was seeing just a little more hesitation from him with each spell casting, so hopefully that means that it truly is improving. And I'm not completely wasting my time. Although I think there are plenty of people who would argue that even if it is working, it's still wasting my time, but that's okay. I don't think ghouls come out during the day. I don't remember about Jackalmen. But those are pretty much the only enemies you'll see. The Brigands, Pterosaurus, Scorpion, ghouls, and Jackalmen. If there are any others, they're not coming to mind right now. There is Merv the Griffin. You can fight the Griffin. Although I would not recommend it. I think you lose honor points, and I honestly don't know if you even can kill him. I think that it honestly just, he'll keep attacking every time you come to one of the desert screens, and then you can't really do anything about it. You'll fight him, and either he kills you, or he flies away when his health gets low enough, and then just pesters you on the next screen, which is an annoyance. There was also a kind of revamped remake that people had made, where you had to do a little less type to talk and things like that. And they inserted some kind of pizza monster. Let's go with Zach. That you could fight, which was extremely powerful. Even if you're fully maxed out, very difficult to kill. But I am 99.99% certain that that is not in this version. Just want to fill up the water skins so that does not become an issue. And once our source is done drinking, alright, and we'll save again just to make sure we're staying safe. Persian golfer. And some kind of jet flying by. I think I've read just about all the signs. There's not all that much variability to them. I would love to do a remake of all these games just to get a little more modernization to them and sort of improve some of the small pieces. Yeah, I'd love to make the fighting just a little bit more dynamic. Even if it was just the way it is in the VGA remake for Quest for Glory 1. Which, frankly, might be the best fighting in all of these games. For general consensus is that most people can't really figure it out, so they just use the auto setting, where the computer does really cool, fancy things that you can't really do yourself. 3 is problematic in that it has a delayed mechanic, whereas in the other games, when you deliver a blow or do an activity, get hit, your meter just kind of immediately goes down to the new level, and the same is true of your enemies. Whereas in 3, it sort of slowly starts tracking down to the point where you hit an enemy 5 times and they will eventually die, but their health is still dropping. So you just continue swinging, waiting for them to die, or your health keeps slowly dropping, or your stamina keeps slowly dropping. And you kind of just are wasting your time and wasting your stat points, and it can get very frustrating and annoying, frankly. And that's, one of the only major differences between the fighting in 3 and 1, but it's enough of a problem that it really does detract from the combat in the game. And then 2 is just a little more simplistic, and because it doesn't have that remake that 1 does, at least not in this version. Like I said, there is the remake where they improved on some of that. And I don't think you need things to be exceptionally complicated, but even just that small difference is something I think would be good and sort of improve things a great deal. And, oh, where's my source? Ah, there we go. That would have been problematic. Yeah, even just those small differences would really improve things. But in Quest for Glory 5, which is the only one that's really done in kind of 3D with slightly more modern fighting mechanics, it actually is good and a step in the right direction in terms of making things more complicated like that, but because the game was a little bit on the early end of that 3D situation, visibility isn't great, and the it's not overly dynamic. You just kind of swing and stand there, and they swing and stand at you. So there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. But with just a little bit of modernization, again, it doesn't have to get more complicated, just a little bit neater. Could really be very cool. Very good changes. Yeah. In reality, I don't think it's possible to cast comm there in a way that matters, because it just doesn't leave you with enough time. I'm just gonna kill you now. Let's go force. Alright. Take mana pill. And since we don't have any vigor pills, let's head home for a bit. Dismount. Let's read our map and head up to our good friend. Hello, sir. Let's just haggle for vigor pill. We'll get a couple of them. And how are we doing on cash? Plenty of cash, so we'll get one more round of healing, and then a couple. Oh, I had tons of vigor pills. I didn't even see it because the number was so high it threw me off. Okay. Oh, that was silly. Whatever. Let's go healing pill. Mana pill. Do that twice. And I've never tried this before, but because he loves the fire elemental so much. Show lamp. Oh. Oh well. We should take a pill. Oop, that's not how you spell pill. There we go. Drink. Pill. Water skin. And slowly, slowly, slowly. That's fine, that's fine. Alright, let's head back out. Close to 20 minutes right now, so we'll do just a little bit longer. And then end the video, and what I will likely do after that is just some off-screen further training the magic, exact same thing I'm doing in this video for the next couple of days. But while it's nice to have a video you can watch of this happening, I think there's a limit to how interesting it can be over time. And there's a limit to how much commentary I have to offer while nothing is legitimately going on. But maybe it'll be interesting. Maybe I'll do a couple fights afterward just to show the improved outcomes with the spell strength increased. Or maybe I'll show you that there really is no difference and it's not worth your time. Either way, there's something to learn there, right? Take two. Zap is, yeah. Zap did not do much last game. And for some of them it doesn't matter, you know. Levitate, I don't think anything really ever changes. Detect, trigger, I don't think anything ever really changes with those getting stronger. Hey, alright. And actually, once we're done with all of this training out here, which, like I said, after a little bit, I'll end this and do the rest of it off screen. We'll finally take care of wit, I think, which will be fun. Certainly the brigands don't pose much of a challenge anymore. I would say clearly it seems that the jackalmen don't come out during the day. I don't know what other changes I would like to make if we did remake the games. It's always good to have more varied enemies. Yeah, it just takes too long to cast that. It has no effect. But, whatever. It's an excuse to work on each new thing. This game, honestly, I don't think needs much work at all. It's always nice to have a little cleaner and newer animation. As much as I do like the kind of versatility of being able to type in your, particularly during conversation, questions you want to ask, ultimately I prefer just to have them sort of offered to you, which is something they did in that remake, because it just, it's too easy to miss things, and nobody likes that. Force needs a lot of work. But let's not do the work when our health is so low. Three and 5 are probably the games that I would want to do the most work on in terms of changing. 3, probably the most maligned of all of the original Quest for Glory games within the anthology, which is very unfortunate because it's actually really good in a lot of ways. It has a really good stuff at its core. It just, I think the overland mechanic is a lot slower and less interesting than the other games, and tends to kind of waste time, and so it makes it so that people really have no desire to have to go back and forth between the two main areas, which just makes the whole idea of traveling around much, much more annoying and less enjoyable, which I think takes away a lot from things. When you sort of feel like you're a little more stuck. It also does not help that there is essentially nothing for the thief to do that is special. That, I think, definitely detracts. There's exactly one sort of piece of the puzzle, the storyline, that is specific to the thief, but it's really, really easy to miss if you don't know about it. And you could end up just going with the sort of fighter and paladin story solution. And other than that one thing, there's absolutely nothing special about being a thief. Um, and frankly, there's not all that much special about being a magic user either. It's better than being a thief. There are a couple of specific changes to it, um, but it's less than is really in any of the other games. And again, one of the best things about the series is the fact that it's so interesting to play as the different character types, where you get such a unique you get such a unique version of the story with each character type you play as, that to lose that, which is what happens in 3, is very disappointing and really detracts from it overall. So just kind of improving those couple of things, the overland stuff and the sort of lack of specialty with the different character types would really change a lot of things and significantly improve the overall experience of the game. And then, honestly, 5, there's so much variability, it's so interesting. It's a huge change from the rest of the series, but you can honestly keep all that and just make some improvements to basically the graphics, and you would already have resolved most of the issues with that. And there's plenty of extra stuff for each of the character classes there. I think we'll do one more fight, and then the rest of it can happen off screen. Just stay right here. Unless I get bored, in which case I'll go to a new screen. 3, 2, 1. Alright. Let's do this now so I don't forget. Or not. Alright, so let's take a quick look at our character sheet, see how we're doing. Intelligence slowly going up, which is good for our magic points. Obviously magic as well. Agility's almost maxed out. Luck going up is nice. I honestly have no idea how that affects our storyline. Or actions, but whatever. I'm not going to turn it down. And then checking our inventory. Open to detect, trigger, dazzle up at 94. Zap, sneaking up to 67. Didn't really do any flame, which is fine. And force up to an 88. So hopefully as that increases, it'll get closer to the amount of damage that Flame Dart does when you use it now. But we shall see. Alright, so we will save things here and carry on in another video after probably a couple days of training. So we'll see you in a little bit.